Hey folks, welcome to the UniHosted channel. My name is Fernando, and today we have a video about port forwarding in the UniFi Gateways. Now, first thing I want to say about this is if you can avoid doing port forwarding, please do it. We have VPN servers today in UniFi Gateways. We have some videos on our channel to set up teleport, to set up WireGuard. So please try to avoid setting up port forwarding because it's basically exposing your internal services to the internet without any kind of authentication, at least at the network level. So it's really risky. So again, if you can avoid it, please do it, and instead set up a VPN server so you can from there authenticate and have outside access to your internal services. Now, if you still need to do port forwarding because you don't want to set up a VPN server, well, stay here. I'm going to show you what you need, how you can do it, and a few security considerations that you can have in order to minimize maybe the blast radius that you will have with an attack if you expose your services using port forwarding. So stay on the video with me, and now let's begin. Okay, folks, let's begin. If you want a written tutorial for this, I will drop this link for this tutorial that we have on our vlog. And if you don't like to watch videos or those kind of things, we have everything here. What do you need, the risks of it, and the instructions on how to set for port forwarding, okay? Now, let's go with the prerequisites. What do you need? The first thing will be that the internal server that you are exposing needs to have a static IP in the network and on the LAN that server is, okay? You can do this from the server itself, or if you have a DHCP server, you can just set up a static DHCP reservation. I'll show you how you can do this with the UniFi Gateway. So if you have a UniFi Gateway and is acting as your DHCP server too, you can just do it from there. Now, whether you have a dynamic public IP address or a static one, you need a public IP before address. Okay, you need this, and you can be behind CGNAT. Okay, it's really important. If you want to enable port forwarding, you can be behind CGNAT because basically with CGNAT, you are sharing the public IP address with other customers of your ISPs. How you can find if you are behind CGNAT. We have instructions here, but the first thing that I would do is I will check directly with your ISP. You can also do a trace route, and if you see any of these ranges in the first hops, most likely you are behind CGNAT. You can check also with any site that tells you what's your public IP. We have a few here. So I will, before you do anything, check if you are behind CGNAT. If you're a home user, you most likely are behind CGNAT. If you are an enterprise company and you have a dedicated enterprise circuit, maybe you already have a public static IP address, okay? This will, I think, is the most important thing. Now, another thing to keep in mind, if you're not behind CGNAT, but you can't breach and configure your public IP address in your UniFi Gateway, that's, for example, my situation. I am behind another router, the ISP router, and I can't disable. I need to configure like a double NAT. It's like a double port forwarding. Make sure that you also configure that on your ISP modem. Every modem is different, but you might see something like port forwarding as well. You might see something like DMZ configuration for devices. Again, you need to check. There are always information about the specifics of each ISP modem in Google. So check that, and then you will be able to configure this. You will see how it looks in the UniFi configuration because again, I am behind, or I can't disable the NAT for the ISP modem that I have. So you will see how it looks on the configuration of the UniFi Gateway. Okay, now that we know what we need, let's just go here to the console. I'm here on my UCG Ultra. These are the versions for the UniFi OS and the network application that I'm running. Remember, things are always different between versions, so things might be moved or changed if you're using something different. And the first thing that we want to do is let's set this up. This is an Ubuntu virtual machine. It's just a really basic web server. I'm going to set up the static IP here, the DHCP reservation using the DHCP server of the UniFi Gateway. You just click on the device that you want to set the static IP for, and then you go to settings. Now you will see here IP settings, and you just need to click here fixed IP address. I would use the same for this guy. If you want to set up a DNS record, you can do it as well. Just remember, this will only work if you use your UniFi as the DNS server too. Now I will apply the changes. If you're not using the gateway as the DHCP server, you can just go ahead and, for example, if you have a Windows server acting as a DHCP server, just do it from there. Or if you want to just go to the server itself and set the static IP from there, it's fine. It's up to you how you configure these things. But remember, the server internally must have a static IP address, okay? Now let's create the rule. If I will go into settings, I have three networks, default one, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. The network where the virtual machine and this web server is VLAN 20, okay? This VLAN is on the DMZ zone. So if we go to zones here on the matrix, you will see the zone name is on the DMZ and it's over here. Whatever you want to expose with port forwarding to the internet, please place it on your DMZ. Okay, I will show you why, but before you do anything, before you expose anything to the internet, please move it, create a VLAN if you need to, and move that VLAN to the DMZ zone, okay? To create the port forwarding rule, I just need to go here to the policy table. You can either just click here on create new policy, or you can just go here to port forwarding. Even if it's grayed out, it will show up here to create a new one. The name, just name it whatever you want. It will be port forwarding for me. Web server, that's it. I only have one interface configured, and you can see here what I mentioned before is behind NAT. So I will be doing some double NAT here, and it's not using a public IP address. There's no public IP address configured in this one IP address. Like I mentioned before, if you have your ISP modem bridged directly, probably you have your public IP address configured on the one interface. That's not the case for me. I still can do a double NAT and a double port forwarding, okay? But you should see the warning here, so remember that. What's the one port for this? So this will be the port that it will be facing outside, or will be facing the internet, okay? I will just use port 80. There are some ISPs that like to block these ports, like the common ones. So if this doesn't work, maybe you will need to use one of the higher ones. Some people like to use like really high ports for internet facing things because they think that it's more secure. I think it's pretty much the same. Anything that is scanning that public IP address, it will be able to find the exposed server or service, even if it's really high. It's just a matter of seconds, so it doesn't matter. But do check with your ISP, or if you have problems, it's possible that maybe they are blocking some of the common ports, okay? But again, the one port, or what you need to configure here, is the one that is facing the outside of the internet, okay? Now, something good about UniFi, it allows you to only to restrict which is the IP that can access from the outside this service. You can choose, the only bad thing is that you can only choose IPv4 addresses or subnets or a range. So for example, if you have another site that you only need that site to access this service or server that you are exposing, you can just put the IPv4 address here, and that will limit a little bit things out. So this is something that will help you a little bit with security. I'll just leave any here. Now we have to configure the forward IP address and the port. What is this? This is the internal IP address of the server and the port of the server. So you can either just type the IP address here. If you configure the DHCP reservation, you can just go here to select device, and the device will appear over here. Okay, and it just types the IP address automatically, or you can just do it manually with your keyboard. The port is the port for that internal server, which is port 80. Okay, it must be the same one that the server is using. You cannot use something different like here. It must be the one that the server is listening. Okay, and then protocol. Hey, I want to use TCP and UDP, or just TCP or UDP. Okay, if you want to enable syslogging, you can do it from here. I'm just gonna click add. That's basically it for the port forwarding part and how you can configure this. Now, I will show you something and why did I place that VLAN and that server in the DMZ zone. So let's go to the zones here, and let's go to the zone matrix. So always look first from the source, and then what's the destination if you want to check any of the rules. Right now, I'm just looking at all the policies. Now, I want to check from the DMZ, which is where that web server is, to internal. By default, UniFi has these rules for the DMZ zone. So let's just click here, and you can see it's saying only allow return. Okay, we don't have the green label here, like here, that says just allow everything. Okay, what does this mean is whatever is on the DMZ zone, like this server, is not able to initiate connections to the internal zone, but is able to reply to them. So for example, let's say that your exposed server with port forwarding is attacked and they gain access to it. They won't be able to access your internal network because that traffic is restricted, okay? They will be able to, again, what this allows you, the return traffic rule allows for the server that is here to reply to any connection that is initiated from the internal zone, okay? So for example, let's say that from my computer, I want to be able to access that server. I will be able to, the server will be able to reply to whatever I'm asking in terms of networking. But that server can't initiate connections to the internal zone. So this is good to at least avoid lateral movement. Again, port forwarding is risky, but this is one of the things that you can do to help with security a little bit, okay? Remember, whatever you are exposing with port forwarding, go ahead and set this up on a VLAN and put that VLAN on the DMZ zone. Even if you don't have a UniFi gateway, you should be able to do it with the gateway that you have. All of the appliances, they use this kind of zone thing, as we see here. And there should be like a DMZ network already configured that only allows these types of rules. And you can see that the second one that is below the return traffic rule is just block everything. That's why, that's how it works. Is whatever wants to go from DMZ to internal is not going to be able to do it. It's only able to reply to the traffic initiated from the internal zone. Okay, with that said, let's just check a few things also as well. I want to tell you why it's risky to enable port forwarding and what you can do instead, okay? So let's go to the block entry again. Now, if you enable port forwarding here, you are just exposing a server or service to the outside. And as you know, there are botnets automatically scanning all the known IPv4 addresses. And since there are not many IPv4 addresses, as soon as you expose something, they will be scanning the server, they will be scanning everything. So you are just exposing this freely, it will be attacked for sure. So again, if you can avoid using something like port forwarding, I really advise you to do something else. For example, setting up a VPN server. You will be exposing the VPN service, of course, but you do have more layers there of, we can say, protection, but basically you have authentication there. There are other things that you need to do in order to access that VPN server and to be able to authenticate with it. So a better solution for, instead of using port forwarding to expose things to the internet, is to configure a VPN server, okay? With UniFi, or with the UniFi gateways, we do have several options. We have WireGuard, the vanilla WireGuard. We have a video about this. We have Teleport as well, which we do have a video too. So if you can avoid to configure port forwarding, please do it and just enable something like a VPN server. You have several options. We have videos about it. I will drop them in the description so you can see how you can do this, okay? So that will be it for the video. Well, folks, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Any question, any request for a new video, or any comment that you want to give us, just drop them in the comment section below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for any notification on upcoming videos, and stay tuned. We have more videos coming for the UniFi and the UniHosted world. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Fernando, and I'll see you in the next UniHosted video. Bye-bye.